followed up by Overpass then as the decider. So other than their own map choice, I think they've got two really strong maps in there as well. And with the pick of Nuke actually coming in, you've got to presume that they've got something special prepared for them.
You'd have to hope so, and I mean, they have to based on the past stats. What's really interesting about these two rosters is obviously because they've been together a while, we can really dig back. I mean, these rosters have been playing each other as far back as May 2021, and well, the Copenhagen Flames have never won a full best of 3 against Entropiq on HLTV. Let's see if they can maybe change that now, as Entropiq will be forced to start over on the T side of Ancient, which, as we both know, can be a hell of a rough place to start, and it's already looking a little rough around the edges as Yabby and nicoodoz find the early man advantage for the Copenhagen Flames. And not only that, they find the bomb as well, stuck out mid. Krad doing what he can to stabilize, but with players peeking from scaffolding, peeking from everywhere, it's making it so difficult for this P250 to really get anything done, and now he's stuck in a 1v2.
Yeah, heavily tagged up as well. Not a comfortable position. They're doubled up in towards Donut, ready for the peek if he decides to commit to it. And well, he doesn't. Instead, it's a shoulder peek, a pre-fire. nicoodoz falls. Suddenly, Zyphon left alone. And Krad just continues this bait. As shots are fired, but not a single one landing from that CT side. Zyphon brought down the 52 now as well, but eventually he finds the head. That gets way too close for my liking. But it is going to be Copenhagen Flames who managed to pick up the pistol round, and well, in the long run, it doesn't really matter how close that pistol round got as long as they take the win. That's the main thing. No bomb plant either, of course, so likely just an eco to come in.
That definitely got a little closer than the Copenhagen Flames would have liked, to say the very least, but as soon as that bomb is first out mid, that feels a little untenable. Not sure that was necessarily the plan for Entropiq, but did their best with the situation and very nearly managed to drag it back, as now onto the force fire they go, and Zyphon, well, second dink, he starts to farm up. Lackey, whilst he will get the kill, takes a dink to the skull as a result, and I mean, an opening 4-on-4, it's not a bad result for Entropiq, but again, they've actually lost the lane control. You can see Krad on the right-hand side of the minimap just holding outside of the B doors, so full lane control taken, and as a result, with 2 players in towards this A site, it makes it very difficult for Entropiq to really get anything done there.
Yeah, especially now as they do actually start to move back around. Likely wanting to end this on B, they'll have to deal with the crossfire. Although the MP9 in Ryze's hands is quite far away. I was just going to say he needs to move up close, so that's exactly what he does. It wasn't of his own free will, it was mind control. No utility though, no smokes other than a single flash here to try and maybe slow them down, so it is going to mostly come down to bullets landing, and Yabby doing a pretty decent job, finds the initial 2. Ry going to get himself the 1, and now knowing that Elian is out there on his own, there's just no need to really give him anything. Wait until he starts pushing as Ry does, and just keep on feeding the economy.
Couple of kills from the force buy, but nothing really significant. That's going to be the concern now, as you said, building the economy over on the CT side of things. Entropiq looking down the barrel of a pretty harsh eco here. Could maybe go for a couple of P250s. Indeed, Lackey will at least bring 1 out. Krad's gone for the same. There's a flashbang dropped across to Elian to make sure he's got money for the AWP. And again, just a cost-cutting exercise really for the CT side of Copenhagen Flames. Don't want to lose anything. Maybe the MP9. That's the only really sacrificeable gun that they've got on the board right now. Want to keep all of those M4s, the AK available still. Make sure you start building that CT economy early, because both ancient games that we've actually seen so far today have had the T side winning the pistol, and that really has formed the backbone of their half. This time, Entropiq no such luck, and as they charge out A, it's just being picked apart. Elian double dink on the Glock onto Zyphon. If he had a P250, he'd have got that kill. Save for the AWP is his undoing, and now being charged at from all sides, and Zyphon, well, he's over towards the B site. He wants to make absolutely sure there's no possible way he goes down, so nice and smooth sailing to open things up.
Yeah, as clean as could be. He said maybe the MP9 could be the sacrificial weapon, but it wasn't even needed. They'll have a very solid bonus round here with an MP9 being the only real weakness. There's even an AK in there, obviously, that they stole away in that second round. So it's going to be tough now for Entropiq. They need to try and crack through early on. I'll allow for Copenhagen Flames to really start building up the confidence for themselves. We know how dangerous they can be once it's rolling. I like this. The MP9 getting a little bit more aggressive on mid, maybe expecting the push straight up through the smoke. Even if he could get a 1-for-1, it would have been useful. And now that not really much has gone on, he's actually able to push forward and help out over towards B. So some good control being found around the alley once again. The deep smoke replenished. And just a lack of control for now for Entropiq.
Again, that B lane conceded.
A bit too deep.
Nade, as you said, just a smidge off the mark, but not bad at all. The problem is, again, for Entropiq, they've lost this lane control. They've only got one smoke and one Molotov, which is the default utility set that we've been seeing today to retake this portion of the map. So if they use that, then they've got nothing to get into the site itself. And for now, Roy's playing it smart, just shouldering the angle down towards the ramp. Making sure if he does see anything, he's not going to get caught with it in transition. Lackey, meanwhile, trying to make a bit of noise in mid, but it's only the 1-for-1. And again, as they start to make their way up B here in Entropiq, they've not got a lot of utility to get it done. Dig control, not really able to be fought for whatsoever. And Roy, swinging wide from it, has got a big kill. NickelBack gone. The bomb is actually stuck in long here as it wants to make its way back around potentially towards A. Krad has managed to nab one, and that's the second pick. The A site wide open for the taking here, but Entropiq don't quite know it. They're trading down, and it leaves Hooksy with 20 seconds left in the 1v2. Up close and personal, he wants this fight, and Forrester will give it to him. Entropiq, it's absolute chaos, you have to say, on the B side, but they get it done regardless.
Yeah, it's a bit heartbreaking. As you said, they didn't seem to realize that there was no one left on the bomb site. If they realized that everyone had funneled themselves in towards long, they could have just locked it down. They could have played things a little bit more securely and at least tried to just trade it out or find a crossfire as they were crossing an area where both groups of players could see. But yeah, they just didn't have all the info that they needed. So unfortunate for Copenhagen Flames. On the other hand, good work from Entropiq. They managed to recover what was beginning to look like a bit of an awkward position. Krad wants to take this early peek on towards B. The molly obviously making things a little bit harder, but he did spot out that player, I believe. For now, though, no real damage being exchanged. I think Krad took a small bit from a nade. But the op pushed up on B. I was going to say could be an issue. No, Krad hits an instant headshot. The backup is instantly forced to retreat away. The op's not going to be recoverable for now either. And this is a rough position for Copenhagen Flames. They've put all of their money into this round.
That's a massive kill to find. Roaming Orp's gone, and now Elian, oh, he flicks away at the worst possible moment, and that may well be the gift the Copenhagen Flames need to get back into this series. Roy, with a big double kill from inside of the site as well, has surely secured it. Lackey miles away, it should have been a gift, a free kill for Elian, but he looked to cover another angle at the last second, and it leaves Lackey a 1v4 as he finds the first, but in all honesty, he shouldn't be too much interested in anything beyond that. All three players for the Copenhagen Flames in towards this B site, so there's potentially a timing up to A, but there's no way for Lackey to know that. He's going to start working his way up. Knows he has to isolate an early 1v1, and he's not going to be given it at all. A couple of missed timings, missed opportunities. And the Copenhagen Flames, an immediate response that breaks the back of the T-side economy.
Yeah, just what a fantastic recovery after initially losing nicoodoz in towards Ali as well. Running things around. Roy looking on point here in the early stages. The Danes lead 4-1. Still plenty of time, of course, for Entropiq to turn it around, but as you said, when we got to catch them earlier on... Oh no, sorry, it was the previous game where we seen Ancient. We seen them... Entropiq, was it Inferno and... Oop, if I'm remembering correctly? Feels like forever ago.
It was an Ancient game.
Oh, we did see them on Ancient? Okay.
Yeah. Opening game of the day.
Oh, we had two Ancients, yes. We ended one series with Ancient and started the next with Ancient, wasn't it? They just blended into one massive Ancient game.
It was a solid Ancient for them, but admittedly up against a very lackluster looking Fnatic, so can't take too much from that series. This round, really can't take too much from it if you're Entropiq. Elian hoping for a Deagle pick, but not being given anything. Zyphon too disciplined to make that error. And again, lane control taken. Roy playing it smart. Happy just to shoulder the angles. Got two smokes and a flash this time. That's a long-short combination. Problem is, for either of those to really take effect, you've got to get past Roy. And again, he lies in wait in this perfect position. I believe that first smoke's going towards him. Indeed it is, just hoping to lock him away, but that 4A1S on the spam, lucky that it doesn't find any kind of connection. That actually opens up a little bit of an alleyway into the site itself. Roy taken down by nickelBack. Yabi now just a smidge isolated, but nicoodoz has rotated in well to help. And that should be just about enough to lock this site down now. You can see the T side a little isolated, and actually they're going to double back. They've left one man, Krad, with a P250 inside of this site, and he has drawn the entirety of the rotation. Elian now actually deep into CT will be able to cut rotations away. Krad goes wide on the timing but can't quite find it. They will be able to get the bomb down at least. And that's a huge win for Entropiq, given how little they brought into this round. And they'll be hoping, just hoping, there's a little bit more on the cards here as well. Hooksy clears the angle well. It's only one for Forrester on the trade, and there's nothing more for NickelBack in it. A little bit of magic very nearly opens up an opportunity for them, and as much as they get the bomb down, it's still a 5th round for the Copenhagen Flames. It's still a nice stabilizer for them economically as well, as they manage to keep 3 players up.
Yeah, it puts them all in that sweet spot money-wise, and considering they went for the couple smokes and a flash, you've got to presume that getting the bomb plant was their main objective, really, alongside a couple of kills. So, they found success in terms of what was reasonable in that round. Now they need to just start finding success straight up, winning rounds. That's what needs to happen. Grind out this T side, bring it towards 5 or 6, and you're in a decent enough position at least to make it work once you swap over. Let's see what's available. The op, unfortunately, is not for Entropiq, which is interesting. Could have dropped, I believe, from Forrester if they wanted, so they're deciding against it. Might indicate the intention of a bit of a quicker play. The problem is, a ton of nades coming in towards that B alley has chipped away at the health of 3 players, and Krad is actually left on 18 after that follow-up nade again.
Taking the lane is so painful for the T side. So much utility available to CTs to cause problems. Krad, though, looking to be a thorn in the side of the CT side, has managed to deal with the Scaffield rotation, and that's opened up the site itself. The flash, though, is excellent for Yabi. 2 quick kills make it a 3rd on Elian in transition, and this one's fallen apart again. A solo frag for Krad in towards the scaffolding, and I thought that was going to start to open things up, but very quickly stabilized. Copenhagen Flames looking very well drilled on the CT side of Ancient, I will say. Much more lively competition than we got earlier in Entropiq. Well, they're going to take their first tactical. Aware that this series, this map specifically, is just starting to edge away from them early on. Possibly aware of that nuke in the back pocket of the Copenhagen Flames as well. And like we spoke about in the opening series of today, the fact that Entropiq, their T-side of nuke has been known to malfunction. They'll be wanting to get a 1-up early here on Ancient. Put themselves in the driving seat heading into that second map, take the pressure away. Are going to be able to get the force out into this one, though. Forrester, again, like in the previous Dean, has just about got enough to drop the AWP if we want to go down that road. Doesn't look like that's the case, though. Full AKs.
Yeah, I mean, maybe just feeling a little bit more comfortable with the rifles. In fairness, there is a lot of close-range positions here on Ancient. I don't think the op is super necessary on the T side. Still, it can be handy, especially when you're up against an opper of nicoodoz's caliber as well. Give him a little bit of freedom for sure, not having one in return to challenge him. They're playing things very slowly. It's a super passive round. They're focused clearly in towards A. Grouped up around main now, but even a couple of players to hold around mid as well. One outside of B, holding quite passively back in towards the doors. They're just not really looking for any early map control, it doesn't seem. Allowing, I guess, Copenhagen Flames to use some of their nades in the early stage before showing themselves at all, which is probably a response to how much damage they took in the opening seconds of that previous gun round.
Yeah. Has to be, you imagine, as now they start to work their way into some mid-control. Donut flashes there for Hooksy. Won't spot anyone out, though, because, again, Entropiq taking this one slow and steady. Looking to split in towards the scaffolding is the call, and Roy, the man to take the pressure. He's got 2 angles to cover at once, and he chooses the wrong one. Free kill for NickelBack. B site under siege now as Yabi solo while he waits for the rotations. 2 players making their way through the cave. NickelBack spots him. Krad just firing away through the smoke, draws the attention long enough, and now fast flank from Hooksy, and that could cause problem. They've got to get that bomb to site, and NickelBack has done well to deal with it. That should open up a path now as Forrester trades down the death of Krad. nicoodoz is left in the 1v3. Bomb goes down inside of the site. There's a long flank coming in all the while, although he won't want to overdo that. nicoodoz switches to the Deeg, knows he needs a quick fire kill to get him into this, and that's the header Forrester to start it off. NickelBack now forced to play a little more passively, and that's given away the sound cue. He's not looking the right way either. The footsteps should just about give this one up now. HE goes in, trying to chip away further as nicoodoz, who again just dives out of the site itself, spots him on the transfer, and Entropiq finally have their second round.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. The frustrated hunt there after he'd seen the shadow move around the corner. Well played, though, by Entropiq in the end, especially in that 2-on-1, just letting him get out and towards the open, really, before they both swing and ensure that even if he somehow hits a ridiculous flick on the deagle or the op, at the very least, the trade was available. That is the first round we've seen from Entropiq in quite a while, and they're going to have to replicate it. Fortunately, the economy is not great at all for Copenhagen Flames. I thought it was going to be a little bit better. You've got two players who don't have enough to buy. Zyphon can just about scrape out a buy. It's only really Rye and nicoodoz who are looking healthy. At least in the case of nicoodoz, that ensures that you can get the op out here. Could also drop a rifle.
Do you? Yeah, that's the big question. I feel like you'd really want to take the 5 rifles here.
Yeah, probably the safer approach.
Probably what they're discussing in this timeout now is nicoodoz trying to justify buying a big green gun, and the rest of the team trying to talk him down to an M4.
They probably managed more nades, though, otherwise.
They're going to go for the AWP. It's the MP9 in the hands of Hooksy. Yabby will go to the FAMAS. So what have you got for us on that AWP, nicoodoz? Feels like it needs to have some kind of impact now. Currently reigning supreme over mid. And again, the early utility is there. Again, established control to come through from the CT side, as it's going to be the scaffolding take from Hooksy on that MP9. And off the back of it, this T side, they just want to get posted into A. Elian's been trusted here a few times. He's had deagles, he's had rifles, now he's got his AWP. Holding for big box and just backs away. Looking to join the rest of the team, who after that early show of presence, it feels like they just want to make sure that there's some kind of presence over towards that A site before they do anything else. But the CT side have read it. 4 players now currently in towards that B site, and it looks like it's going to be a retake down the ramp. The timing of this is going to be everything. There's a smoke in the doors for now. There's 3 players behind it. Krad is currently solo into the cubby. There's 2 players retake down the ramp. If he can get support, that would be this entire round wide open. It's a 2-for-2 trade, but Forrester finds the critical kill. And now with the man advantage, they can do whatever they need to do here in Entropiq. 45 seconds, all the time in the world if they want to back out of this play. And that is exactly what they're planning to do. Flashbang to get the AWP off the angle and keep him busy. Zyphon has rotated away into mid for now, but with 30 seconds left, he starts to smell a rat. He starts to think about the possibility of the A play, and his timing could be spectacular, but Lackey has read it. And off the back of that, a 1v3 for nicoodoz on the AWP doesn't feel even slightly viable. A third round surely to be posted by Entropiq.
Yeah, nicoodoz has just already decided that he wants to save this op over, which is very reasonable considering it's going to be an eco. Otherwise, I'll have the op. Pistols, I don't even think will really be upgraded much, so ideally try and get that up to work something in the early stages, see if the pistols can maybe combine on a player or two as well. Try and at the very least make this next round a costly one for Entropiq so that you can come back in the next gun round swinging and try and break them down again. Because for now anyway, Entropiq are beginning to do a pretty solid job at grinding out these rounds. Sure, they were down 6-1 at one point, but now they're up to 3 and they should have a 4th coming their way unless this op is a miracle worker. And obviously nicoodoz is going to have to be as well. As I said though, yeah, the money doesn't even afford them pistols.
Especially with only a 2400 loss bonus coming. Don't really want to be investing at all, so they're actually going to dish the utility that nicoodoz has managed to save around the park. He'll invest into 1 HE to get that across to Yabby. And then we'll head into the early mid-control, actually, to be contested for by Lackey, just charging up, and that's right into the crosshairs of nicoodoz. NickelBack now out in no man's land, and they're feeding this AWP here. Zyphon gets the second. Entropiq, this was their round to win, and suddenly it's become their round to lose. They've worked their way onto the B side, the double cave setup not to be tested. Should allow them to get the bomb down, and at that point it becomes a big decision for the Copenhagen Flames. There is a MAC-10 down in mid, there's a rifle with it. Bomb will be conceded in towards this B site. How hard do they want to contest it? nicoodoz has got an AWP. You could save a rifle as well. That would really form a backbone of the buy into the next. But I think the fact that they're 2 players up is going to fuel them to give this one a crack. nicoodoz is going to be boosted over long. Not tested, however, and now with 2 pistols headed his way and a rifle being picked up, it's on Forrester to get a lot of work done here. He doesn't see the boost initially. That leaves him isolated. Roy combines. They find one, but it's quickly stripped back to just Roy on this AK. He finds the first, but the aim punch betrays him at the last moment. At the very least, it's 4 big kills in a round that was meant to stabilize the economy of Entropiq and will do no such thing. But they'll think that was desperately close to being successful.
Yeah, as you said, if not for the aim punch there, he might have had it. I'm not sure if the flick was quite on. Tensions were a bit too up for me, but either way, considering what they had into that round, as I had said, their main goal was to try and make it expensive, try and make it as costly as possible, and they definitely succeeded in that regard. Elian's really the only one with any sort of money left, so if they can take this round, they're right back into winning, pretty much. They should have rounds to follow it. Elian's hoping to try and open things up here on the off. The scope definitely was heard by Zyphon. Finds the fight against Forrester. Initially, though, hopes to fall back away with the advantage intact and, well, manages to. A little bit of assistance allows him to come back in for even more than the second kill found. They do not want to give any space for the bomb to be planted, and suddenly, Elian's left alone. He wants to see if he can force the issue early on, take one more kill at least, and maybe work off of that, but sadly, he misses what looks to be one of the easier shots. That's how it usually goes, right? You hit the mad flick.
Yeah, always the way.
It's those ones.
Always the way. But they must have some kind of read about what's going on over on A. That's the 3rd or 4th time they've tested A long. This is the first time they've just committed dry. Very nearly caught a timing as well. Zyphon solo went in towards the donut, but that initial kill, it felt like the flashes were maybe half a second too late from the T side. Eventually they're undoing as now they look to half buy. Eagles, Techs, P2 Fiddies. 1 scout available, but Yabby's going to very quickly start putting the sword to these isolated pistols. Opening kill found onto Krad, NickelBack. He's got a Glock as he charges on through. Really can't expect too much of him. And again, at this point, just about damage. Damage limitation if you're the Flames, and they're doing a fantastic job of that. Zyphon finds the 4th kill. Lackey, last man up, just a P250 to work with. Wants the scout, but it's a difficult angle for him to recover it on, and Zyphon will strip him back. So a really nice round again from the Copenhagen Flames. And they've just about started to build that economy back up again, right? We were talking about at 6-2 how it had started to splinter and there was a definite opportunity. Entropiq, they knocked on the door, but they didn't manage to break it down. Copenhagen Flames have started to recover this once again into a solid CT side. If they deal with this rifle buy, then they're on track for a fantastic one.
Yeah, and in fairness though, Copenhagen Flames haven't fully boarded that door up yet. A few wooden planks maybe over it to keep it intact, but as you said, win this. If Entropiq can win this one themselves, sure to buy be there for one more for Copenhagen Flames, but there'd maybe even be a couple weaknesses to it. So there is still a chance for Entropiq, but this is where they need to make it happen. Now or never, otherwise Copenhagen Flames will be on track likely for 11. It seems to be their standard default anyway. This time with a bit more focus on towards mid. There is a reaction instantly from Roy. The spray down looked like it was going to be on point, but no, not able to get the full damage on the second player, unfortunately. But it's not a bad 1-for-1, considering NickelBack's left on 7 health. They should be pretty aware of the fact that he's as low as he is as well. And they don't really concede any map control, especially now as they clear up behind that box and ensure no one's there. They realise that mid hasn't been pushed into.
NickelBack on 6 HP, 7 HP rather, is going to be trusted to just lurk A. Play for the info. Keep someone from rotating, but being stripped back a man in this kind of a situation is not a good look for the T side. Krad, he spots this scaffolding player, but Hooksy not quite going to wander into the crosshair, so with more utility coming, Yabby still in and amongst that cave. nicoodoz even finding a pick. This feels destined for disaster, and it's starting to look that way too. Elian at least able to grab one back and keep his team somewhat in it, but now he's alone. Up against 3, the money broken. He's only got one choice. That AWP is going right back where it came from, into the depths of T-Spawn to be saved once again. A 9th round on the board for the Copenhagen Flames. And you have to say, looking quite proficient at the moment on the CT side of Ancient. Oh, Elian legs up nicoodoz. through the corner of the wall, gets a lot of damage, but he's going to give even more information over to his opposition, who are now starting to pincer in from all sides. It's after time. He goes down with $250 to his name. That is disastrous from Entropiq. And it makes a really huge decision to be made here, because Elio's only going to be getting $3,400 after this. He's barely going to have enough to scrape a Galil together. They're going to half buy regardless.
Yeah, they're going to ideally need a bomb plant so that Elian can afford the rifle, and a little bit of utility behind this. Some kills would be nice as well to add to that economy. And mid-rush though through the molly, unfortunately not working out too well for them. They're going to be picked apart mostly by the op. Though Hooksy is able to get a piece of the pie as well, leaving only Forrester standing. And, well, it looks like Copenhagen Flames might have felt bad for the fellow Scandinavians, or at least the couple of them that remain over on Fnatic. Seeing them not have a great time in their match earlier, and they were like, okay, yeah, we'll make Entropiq feel the same. They're going to have a really one-sided matchup. It looks like good work by Yabi. It looked somewhat promising early for Entropiq.
Is still the T side.
True.
I will throw that caveat into the mix.
It is their choice, though. I was expecting a bit more.
5th round would be big. I think 10-5, you can start to justify it. 11-4, it looks just that little bit worse. They're going to go towards A again. You almost have a morbid obsession with this A site in Entropiq, and in the last round of the half, they're going to barrel out into a wide open one. Finally, they've been trying to get this read, and they finally managed to get something going. nicoodoz, though, is posted in towards Donut, and there's a freebie for him. Lackey going before the smoke has bloomed, and now charging in is Hooksy, tagging Elian down to 22. The bomb will go down, but at what cost? An advantage there for the retake for the Copenhagen Flames, and a ton of damage off the back of it as well. After plant position's not even that solid. Forrester looking the wrong way, goes down for free. nicoodoz finds one more, and they're looking to make this retake flawless. It's a solo frag for NickelBack. And an 11-4 half for the Copenhagen Flames. Utter dominance, and we'll have to see if they can keep this dominance going after the break. Climb for Entropiq. 11-4 down at the half. This pistol really feels like it could be a big swing in the context of this series, and the Copenhagen Flames, they've only got one idea for it. It's straight over towards the B side. There's one smoke and one flash in the hands of Hooksy, and it's going to be a straight barrel into B. NickelBack, their first point of resistance, does spot out one, but it's a duck under his crosshair. That will be the cave control completely conceded. They're going to go quickly off the back of it as well. Nice smoke from the CT side. Buys a little bit of breathing room as they take the ramp in response. It's the B site given up, but they've taken other chunks of the map in response, and it's a slaughter, in all honesty, on the site. nicoodoz gets 2, but that is, well, it's an unconventional way of playing the B site, but it works out beautifully for Entropiq.
Yeah, as you said, very solid response to just push down the ramp. They realized smokes were going down. They were going to be up close and personal with Glocks jumping around in their faces in a couple of moments, and decided they'd try their chances of maybe catching anyone who was away from the main pack of players. It works out well, create their distance and space, and obviously with a bit of a clutch play as well from the player in the back corner there, they're able to get things done. I'm blanking on who exactly it was unfortunately. Either way, it's an 11-5 scoreline with Entropiq finding that pistol now, and they can start building something up, hopefully in a clean fashion as well. One thing we are seeing that wasn't too common in the previous half is an eco.
A full eco.
Elusive eco. I thought they were extinct.
Just gone into hiding. Shoulder peek again from NickelBack. Very similar to what we saw Roy doing. A little more committed, however. His wallbangs hit a little bit different. Krad goes in for one more, and again, this is really just about farming up cash and not losing any of those rifles if you are Entropiq. The MP9s, they're acceptable casualties, and one is going to go down here. Krad quickly there to mop up the pieces, but they get 4 of the 5 kills, so the fact it goes down really is of no consequence. Lackey still in a great position to get a decent buyout into this one. Krad could even drop him across if they want to save money that way. This is the first real test for Entropiq now, with the Copenhagen Flames' first full complement of rifles. Lackey has had to go down to the FAMAS, having only got the 1 kill. See, I would have liked to have seen Krad drop him there. He's got 3,900. That could have been a 4A1S. But no, it's a FAMAS, and we'll have to see if it comes back to haunt them.
I mean, it's not the worst, but yeah, it doesn't really... Yeah, exactly. It doesn't really leave them with a bonus round either, considering he's got no money behind it afterwards. So it's not the perfect position considering how important the round is, but it's doable. I am somewhat puzzled why he's the one holding mid, though. Definitely could have worked that out a little bit better, as NickelBack wants to go aggressive. He has been spotted. The barrel gave him away, but it also baited right in. Made him want the hunt, and nice headshot from NickelBack lands. An upgrade to the AK as well. Fortunately, he didn't toss the M4 backwards. Wouldn't have been recoverable quite yet by Lackey either way, but yeah, definitely not now. But an advantage they can sit with. It's obviously Copenhagen Flames who are feeling the pressure. Or if we were to finish the way you were going to say it earlier, I guess it would have been Copen Flames Hagen.
Exactly. I'll talk to their marketing department about a name change, but... The lane controllers actually allowed a massive rotation here from the CT side. They had 4 players on A at one point. They are starting to back away from that now, as NickelBack has tucked himself into dig. That looks to be the right call. NickelBack is going to be tested. Multiple bodies headed his way. Does well to get 1. Trade is there at the very least, but now that's bought time. Rotations will start to come in. Elian does have to be a little careful here. Up onto the site they charge, and Forrester spamming through the smoke. Connection, but no kill. We'll open things up for a plant. Elian going to be mollied out as well. Wasp blinded. He's got to get something, and he'll find a kill inside the flames before he backs away. Yabby does deal with the backstab, though, and there's damage onto these players to work with. Krad charging in on the MP9 finds 1. And it's all onto Yabby. He spams the fuse. They know exactly where he is at this point. Krad taps it, wants to bait in the low HP Elian, and they play it to perfection. The trades are efficient. Krad finds himself with a double kill, even with a recovered AK-47. It's the 7th round on the board for Entropiq, starting to just narrow that gap now. And Copenhagen Flames will start to feel just that little bit of sweat on their collar. The T side of Ancient's not an easy place to be, and they're finding that out the hard way.
Yeah, Entropiq definitely doing better here coming into this half. This time, coping with the Flames. There's your bad joke for the broadcast. I had to do it at some point, you know I did. I'm a little bit puzzled by the fact that they mollied that player in towards long, and then the man who was watching it just turned his back. It was a little bit of a strange exchange in the previous round that could have turned it in favour of Copenhagen Flames. But either way, this round now in action, and already Yabby goes down. It's going to be an early advantage for Entropiq. They're looking much, much better on this CT side, where they seem to be controlling the pace better than they did on the offense.
Just ancient things. CT side, you can see the confidence difference. NickelBack, full lane control taken. Smoke to keep the T side busy. Give the CTs that little extra bit of map control. Just force a little more utility out again on the retake. That's a huge dink from Elian. Long range angle does find 1. Spray down connects onto Roy as well, getting a ton of damage out of that M4. Lackey, meanwhile, dealing with the second player to attempt to lurk into mid, which is Hooksy, and now, well, just Zyphon and nicoodoz, and Zyphon a dink from death, desperately low. Elian with the spray down finds all 3 kills. 8th round on the board, and that was a buy. There was rifles involved in that situation, and the Copenhagen Flames just got nothing from it. Demolition job before they really get into any kind of control, and with that gap at just 3 rounds now, the economy again down to a half buy. Copenhagen Flames are yet to register on the T side of Ancient.
Yeah, beginning to sweat a bit. I think they'd have an adversity to heat.
It's 1 dad joke per broadcast. I don't get the second.
It's just a continuation of the previous one. It was somewhat the same topic. NickelBack, that is a wild push, but it works. Okay. Didn't have much of an option to fall back either because of that molly, so he would have just been forced into where he is now. Instead, gets 2 clean frags and, well, a chance for more. It's the 4K. Maybe the ace if he peeks it in towards middle. He should have his chance. You kind of have to hope Zyphon would win that initial fight on mid just so he can get the ace, but no. They just want to keep this clean. Entropiq, if they can bring this towards 9 and have their economy in such a tremendous position, then we've got to start believing that they can make this happen, and indeed, they keep all 5 alive. NickelBack is rich as hell, everyone else is looking pretty decent, and, well, this gun round here for Copenhagen Flames is their last chance to get it going before Entropiq likely tie up the scoreline.
When it rains, it pours. NickelBack full blind, just running and gunning out scaffolding. 2 picks, and then just to rub salt in the wounds. Like, he's got a double kill while full blind. That's enough. No, he's going to swing again. He's going to get 2 more. Keep you on the back foot. They want this mid control again, the Flames. They've been spotted, though. Forrester's got a Molotov to force Yabby out on this. He will flash himself away. Just about manages to avoid the prying crosshairs. And it is actually drawing almost Entropiq into the crosshairs of that AWP. nicoodoz was there to back his man up, and, well, the CT side have perhaps wisely chose not to push the issue any further. Forrester instead just catching some smoke spam, and a nasty lineup deals with the AWPer for free. Yet to see a body, and that $4,750 investment is down the drain. Lackey, meanwhile, going to be put under pressure in towards the donut, but he's up for the task as well. And again, they're just losing numbers in isolated fights here, the Flames. 3 on 5, the bomb is alone in mid. There's 1 man out A long, and that's the bomb going down with it. The last is deep out towards B. I don't think you could take more isolated fights if you tried. Zyphon has at least managed to scramble 1, but you can see Elian doesn't really want this fight at all. Zyphon's grabbed a second, and that does start to make things a little interesting. They know Roy is up on this B site, and he's found Elian. And out of nothing, they are trying to scrape this round together by just taking 1v1s till they die. It's an even 2v2 now, and with the bomb down in mid, you can see Lackey wants to take this control back. If he doesn't find Zyphon, this could spell disaster. NickelBack now alone will find the first. He's got a Molotov. 20 seconds left. That molly wins it, but it's gone too deep. Roy will go past it. He'll tick into it, and with 15 seconds left, he'll get the bomb. There's only 1 site he can hit. He's got no choice. It has to be A. He'll hear NickelBack charging in as well. 1 flashbang to try and get himself into a plant spot. He's got to stick this. NickelBack jump spots it and gets the spray down as well. That was a 2 on 5 turned 1v1, and NickelBack is just able to scramble it. It's fantastic damage for the Copenhagen Flames, but it's not the round that they desperately needed.
Oh, it looked like they had their chance as well. Some mistakes definitely were being made by Entropiq, continuing to want to really control that bomb in on mid when they maybe could have conceded it. Trying to just keep an advantage for themselves. Smoke in on mid as expected from the T side, but it seems like their focus is going to be a little bit more in towards B. Moving incredibly quick towards Cave. Only Tech 9's in hand, so you do want to get up close and personal. The molly that they put down, though, unfortunately is going to slow them from proceeding maybe as quickly as they would have hoped. And if they do want to move fast in towards B, there's going to be 3 players waiting for them, so it looks like they've come to the conclusion that they might want to slow things down.
Don't mind the call. They've got the lane control to work with. They're working their way out mid as well, which is going to be conceded. He said Entropiq, maybe just to play the angles. Lucky will get 1, but it's quickly traded. And now that A site, a pressure point, really. Yabby's going to swing wide on the 4A1S that's been recovered, but he can't quite find the kill, and that should be the release. Krad finds 1. The P250 will get no more, so just the solitary frag. And again, for a split second, that feels dangerous, right? For just a moment, you're looking at it and going, okay, they've got an M4A1. There's an opportunity now for them to start splitting things into A, but it's so quickly stabilized by Entropiq. Cauterize the wound just immediately. Not allowing any more blood to flow than absolutely necessary. And, well, the Copenhagen Flames, this was an 11-4 half. It's now 11-all. No response so far on the T side. They'll take their second pause. And it's a much needed one at that, because there's got to be a different page to the strat book. Nothing they've tried has worked so far. What have you got left at the moment? Fertling through the recycle and looking for the strategy they threw away last week because it wasn't good enough, and just thinking we'll throw it at the wall and see if it sticks, because nothing else has.
Yeah, I think this is where both teams start to bring out whatever they may have special in mind, because it's 11-11. It's a gun round there that can propel one team into the lead, especially Entropiq, who have the economy already rolling their way. Good opening kill from Alien. Through the smoke, it looks to be. Wally was blind, so I don't even know how to address that. I don't think Alien does. He didn't quite see it. And a free kill for NickelBack as well as they creep in through the smoke. Alien won't quite land the follow-up shot as they push out onto A, but he distracted a bit. It allowed Forrester to have some free reign, and as you can see, Ryan and nicoodoz are struggling to really gain any ground to get a bomb plant, but now they find some openings.
Killer Piece has opened up an opportunity. NickelBack, he's on the flank long. It's a huge flank, and it will get him a kill, but the timing is going to be critical. nicoodoz wants the temple, and he'll get it with the timing. Now Forrester on the off angle takes the leg, but his elevated position will be the undoing of nicoodoz. And yeah, NickelBack, he bided his time on that flank. He waited a long old time to activate it and pulls the trigger just at the critical moment, just when it feels like things could get out of control. And Entropiq have the lead. 12-11. Of course, Copenhagen Flames are at that wonderful point on their T side where you're at max loss bonus, so even if you lose, you're just going to keep buying things. nicoodoz is down on the Deagle. There's rifles for 3. Yabi can pick up the 4th as well. Oh, to be on the T side. Money abundant regardless of situation, as Zyphon and Yabi, they want to take mid again, but have they not learnt their lesson? Blinded through a smoke. This time it's Forrester. Last round it was Elliot, and Forrester wants even more too. Just spamming away, 3 kills into mid. That M4A1S just making a nuisance of itself. And immediately, a 3-on-5. The T-side have not seen a single player, and they've lost 2 for their troubles. Bomb has been left deep. Elian is posted into Dig. Will get his head ripped off by Roy, and that's a nice response, but again, immediately, Lackey goes searching. Throws his line out into mid and pulls in a fish in the form of nicoodoz. Leaves it 2-on-4, make it 1-on-4 as Lackey goes back for more.
And Hooksy's chances pretty minimal on the Galil. Does decent damage and actually will get that first kill on Forrester, but already being dinked up, there wasn't much more to expect. It's the finish for Lackey, and it's Entropiq taking a 13-11 lead. Just completely controlling this second half, really. This has been surprising, but they've looked solid, and so far Copenhagen Flames have just been unable to crack through it, and it won't be in this round where they do so either, because it is going to have to be probably pistols and Kevlar at most. We're going to get a pause. Obviously, pause count 4. 3 out of 4 being used. We're actually getting a lot of them used now. So there's four pause. Does that mean your dog if you use them all? There's another dad joke for you.
See, sometimes I like to make you just sit in silence and think about what you've done, but we're just going to skip past it entirely this time, and I'm just going to point out that I told you Ancient was CT-sided before we started. You weren't convinced how bad it was. This
Not
is
quite. Entropiq
like,
looked better on the tee in their game versus Fnatic as well, in fairness.
This is like textbook why Ancient is bad. Just link the VOD of this. Because Entropiq are just bossing it at the moment. They're taking the mid control. Forrester's just spamming through smokes, and there's nothing the T-side can really do about it. They're down on the pistols again, like you said. Deagles and Tech-9s are out. Up against a very strong full buy with a decent amount in the back pocket as well. I mean, Krad and NickelBack are on 5 digits. It's just getting unhinged at this point. Mollies go in from the CT side. Not quite as clean as they were from the Movistar Riders earlier today. They do leave some gaps. The floor is lava, but there is respite to be found for the pistols that opt to try and take that lane control. But again, for the Flames, they need something. Smoke goes in. That may well bait Forrester into a false sense of security, but he's read the boost as well. Clean entry onto nicoodoz, and again, man advantage for Entropiq, and they've not been in the habit of letting these go away.
No, I mean, even against the rifles, they've been absolutely able to lock down these bomb sites, so I'm not loving the chances with the pistols and Kevlar, but at least a few kills would be okay, I suppose. Long-term damage-wise, it's not going to do much for them, though, unfortunately. NickelBack takes the initiative there off the back of Krad's flash to just find another opening in towards Cave. Seems to force them forward. A decent shot by Yabi lands. I thought it was the Tech-9 that hit the flick for a moment, as apparently Elian shakes a bit too much as he takes that shot. So at least for the moment, Yabi gets the continue on with his life, but it didn't last too much longer. Hooksy wasn't ready to push alongside him either. He's being flanked out either way, so he's being pinched in on. Meaning there really shouldn't be anything more than maybe one kill if he lands an instant headshot.
Nothing doing. 14. This is it now. This is for pride as much as anything for the Copenhagen Flames to watch Entropiq post a flawless CT side on Ancient against you. That's going to send shivers down your spine that go as far as nuke. You're still going to be shaking when you get there. Need something. Need a little bit of magic just to conjure up a round out of nothing. Get yourselves believing that this is... well, it's a map you could win. And a series that you could be competitive in. They're going to go for the early lane control. Heavy utility thrown here by the CT side, and they are charging in for the fight. Roy is behind the boxes, and he will deal with the man pushing down the ramp. The spam through the smoke is good, but not quite there. Lackey then decides that that's enough of that. And heads in to clear up house. That will be full lane control now established for the CT side. And you can see the rotation starting to creep. But mid control this time hasn't gone their way for the CT side. And Hooksy spots Forrester, needs this kill. His teammate will at least bail him out. And NickelBack will double it to keep his team alive in this one. It's an even 2-on-2. The AWP is headed into mid. Zyphon there to greet him. As Elian wants some control back. Creeping into this angle is the AWP, and he's had a torrid time on Ancient. Another missed shot. He's down to 30 HP, but again, it's Lackey there to back him up. Zyphon strips the bomb back from him. Missed shot from nicoodoz will allow Lackey to tuck himself into the corner. And there's Elian hitting the shot. 15. This last buy is going to be ugly as well for the Copenhagen Flames, as Entropiq are one round away from posting a flawless 12-round CT side here on Ancient. That is just... I can't believe I'm even saying those words, Dean.
Yeah, no, it's been absolutely insane. They ended the half with the 4, was it? Oh, no, or was it 5?
Yeah.
And
11-4.
Yeah, no, it was 4. Yeah, correct. So, yeah, this has just been ridiculous, honestly. You said it was incredibly CT-sided, but considering Entropiq had looked pretty good on their CT side. I think going 7-1 after going 9 on their T side initially. I was expecting maybe a bit more on their T side, and I thought they'd be able to do something decent here, but I wasn't expecting 12 rounds completely uncontested, considering how strong Copenhagen Flames were in that first half as well. All the individuals have dropped off the face of the earth. That's definitely worth mentioning. Things right now being played out a lot slower by Entropiq in terms of not pushing forward and taking the initiative. They're letting Copenhagen Flames stew in the pressure of what could be the final round of this map.
They know what they've done as well. With that combination of Molotovs, they've made it so rough for this T side to get anything. They've used all their utilities. Zyphon has crept out mid though and will deal with Lackey to keep his team a man up, and that's the A site. But Elian knows it, and that was the shot. That was the kill that could have made things interesting. It's not going to come through, and the Copenhagen Flames off the back of it should, and I will add should, have a 12th round in their hands. NickelBack looking to do all he can to deny that fact. Will find one. He's being flanked out from mid all the while, though, and that timing is going to be everything. He's crept it. Just about dodges the crosshair, but Roy knows. Backs away. Tucks himself into the rattiest corner he can find in the deepest part of CT spawn and waits, because he knows NickelBack's going to be charging in. He knows NickelBack's feeling it right now, and there we go. Copenhagen Flames, they will register on the T side of Ancient. The problem is they need 3 more. And they need 3 more against an Entropiq team who are going to keep on buying. They have got money coming out of their ears at this point. They could do a Scrooge McDuck and dive into a pool of coins. And, well, just to make that point even clearer, they're going to invest into the double AWP.
Off the back of that, though, they could have a pretty weak economy moving even into the next round, let alone the one afterwards. So this is a pretty risky investment. A good opportunity for Copenhagen Flames, but obviously it means they do need to chain 2 rounds together, and up until that previous round, they'd not succeeded in even taking 1. And unfortunately for Roy, he's going to get dinked up through the spam there, the edge of the smoke as well. NickelBack just wildly going for it and hoping does come out with some good damage on top of what is the opening kill eventually from Elian. It doesn't last too long with the trade coming back, but the trades continue in the direction of the CT side. I was going to say they'd be happy just with the damage kind of giving them the advantage. They do notice, of course, a player has crept in towards their spawn now, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be much of a threat anymore.
That's the threat of the secondary AWP, it really is. Lackey swings in, will get his head ripped off by Zyphon, who's not done yet. Elian there for the refrag, though, and he finds the kill cleanly enough, so it's Zyphon left. 1v3. Krad's secondary AWP. Like we said, it was a big investment, but it was the fact that Elian let out a shot in mid, and then they started to take ramp, and Krad is just there. Just anchoring that angle down. They've never seen that secondary AWP before. Comes out in a big round. Now leaves Zyphon with a big call to be made. NickelBack not having any of it. 16-12. It's not quite flawless, but it's close enough from Entropiq. One round goes against them on their CT side, but it is dominance on Ancient. And you have to imagine that that's going to send shockwaves into Nuke, right? It's a very similar principle. Nuke used to be CT-sided, certainly still is to an extent. And Entropiq are going to get to start